Alright. Okay, today we've got a Smith Wesson M&P 1522. It's the MOE version in flat dark earth, and it's in the stock configuration. Of course, it has the little micro dot on it. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take this standard or stock handguard off. We're going to replace it with a free float handguard. So it's just a matter of taking off the stock flash hider, crush washer, and we're going to take off this handguard. And there's a little bit of trick to that, so we're going to show you how that's done. So in the meantime, I'll set this back down and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. What we're going to do is put a Troy Industries TRX Battlerail. You can see that. That's what's going on. And that comes with basically your 4-inch and 2-inch Picatinny rail attachments. I'm not going to use them. It comes with a proprietary barrel wrench, and obviously it's proprietary barrel nut. Okay, and so and an Allen wrench, of course, to tighten it up. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. But to do that, what we're going to use is Tactical 22's barrel nut converter, and that's what came here. So I got this from Tactical 22. You can find him on the links I'm going to put on the video. And it comes with, this is the new barrel nut. It's a converter that allows you to put on a free float handguard, because what happens is the factory free float barrel nut will go over top of this, and it'll create a heat sink, but it'll actually work so that we can use a free float handguard. Otherwise we can't with the stock barrel nut that's on the 1522. Now what you'll see here too is that what I had to do is, this is the converter from Tactical 22, but I couldn't really get it to work because both it was new and so was the Troy barrel nut. And obviously the barrel nut's steel and this is aluminum, so you got to be kind of careful with the threads on this. But what I found was, and the reason why you see all the tops, the leading edge of the threads are shiny, is because it looks like the anodizing was a little bit high, so it wasn't going in. And you can only do this by hand, so you'll find that when you do this, this is all done by hand, because there's very tiny threads in here, which will replace your stock barrel nut. So those very tiny threads, so you can't do anything with a wrench. You got to do it all by hand. So here you are tightening this thing, as you can imagine, and that's what it dawned on me, that what was happening was the anodizing on the top leading edge of these threads was still built up. So I had to take my pocket knife, and what I did is I just basically scraped off the leading edge of each thread so I can get the anodizing off and get it to fit in there. So then it works fine. Okay, I put a little bit of gun grease on there, a little Tetra, and I got it to work in where it's perfectly where I want it, and now I can go to town and go ahead and hook it up. So what else came from Tactical 22 to make this work was the little wrench. As you can see on this conversion barrel nut, there's a little hole here that takes a spanner wrench, and the spanner wrench comes, okay, and then that allows you to. But when you're putting this converter barrel on, you want to make sure you do something like a rag or something to protect these threads. Again, this is steel, this is aluminum, so you want to be very careful there. So I've got that, and the other thing I've got from Tactical 22 was the Pro Series barrel nut wrench. This is what this does, is this takes off the factory barrel nut that has these little prongs. So this goes down over the barrel and actually allows me to take the original stock barrel nut off. So this is a nice little tool to have, and you can get this also from Tactical 22. So we'll go ahead and get it in the barrel vise. We're going to first take it, break it down. Take the I'm going to take the upper and lower and separate them. And we're not going to need charging handle or carrier. We're going to take this off, and actually while I'm at it, because I'm taking off the handguard, the stock handguard, I'm going to go and take off the Magpul 2nd Gen flip up sights. So I'll go ahead and take at least the front one off. The back one's fine. Take the front one off. Okay, get that off there. And we'll put that back on when we're all done. Okay, so the first step is to take off the flash hider. Now I had this flash hider off before, so I'm just going to take it off by hand, because I've already had it off before. So I made it easy. What you would typically want to do is use a barrel vice jaws. You want to hold on to this barrel, because if you take this barrel, the flash hider off, otherwise you could turn the barrel and strip it, because it's just held in here by 2 prongs in plastic. At least I'm told. So you want to be careful not to turn the barrel in the receiver. Okay, so get a hold of it with a pair of barrel vice jaws, or make a pair with maybe 2x4 so that you can hold on to it real good. Anyway, get your flash hider off and your crush washer. Set those aside. And then you want to go ahead and get these 4 tabs. You can see here, there are 4 little tabs inside the very front handguard. And they just got to be pushed out. Once you get all 4 of those pushed out, this here will come out. This is just the end cap of the factory handguard. Pull that out, slide it off, okay? And now we can get access to this. So what we want to do now is kind of carefully just slide this over top. So you see those little prongs, those teeth. We're going to slide this down over the barrel, kind of get it in its spot. You can almost feel it slide into the barrel nut. Then you want to get this into a set of vice jaws, okay? And what we've done here, we just took a pair of an old bag, you know, really heavy duty plastic. I'm just going to wrap it in that. Get that turned so that we can get a good bite on it. And then I'm going to put it down here in my vice jaws. Alright, so I don't mar up the bluing on the barrel. Maybe a little bit more. And we really just got to get it to where we're not you know, messing the barrel up. Again, the reason why we're doing this is because the barrel, you know, cannot rotate. We don't want the barrel to rotate while we're trying to take off this this factory barrel nut. All right, there we go. And that will hold it in place. So now that we've got this tool in place, we'll just take a crest wrench or a 15/16 wrench if you've got one, and then just turn it counterclockwise as you know. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. The idea is this is going to be very fine, thin thread. If you can look at this, this is the converter nut. I don't know if you can make that out, but those are threads in there. They're very fine, thin. So it's going to take a little while to back this off of there, the factory one. So we're just going to take our time and get this thing, start backing it off. Once you get it started, it pretty much will come off by hand. I mean, it just took me a little bit right there, and I was able to take it off by hand. Now you want to watch it because the original barrel, they could slide out the back here. I'm told that you don't want that your ejector is just, as you know, if you've got a 1522, you know that's just a little prong of metal. You don't want that to fall down and break off, and you've got to, you know, deal with Smith Wesson getting you a new one. So we're just backing off this barrel nut. And like I say, it's going to take a little while. I may have to go ahead and take it out of the barrel vice jaws because it's not going to hurt. Right now, the work that these barrel vice jaws needed to do is over. It's done. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out of here. It did what it was supposed to do. I'm going to go ahead and slide it out of here. These are nice too. I got these here from like Midway USA. I think they were 16 bucks. But the idea again, keeping this barrel pointed down is the way to go because we don't want this barrel sliding out the back of this receiver and breaking off. We don't want the barrel here sliding out the back of this receiver and breaking off our ejector. So kind of keep it pointed down, okay? And all we're doing right now is we're just the barrel nut will probably just slide out there on us. Let me get it in place. Okay. It's coming out a little bit, but it's almost like I want to put it, just to be safe, I want to put it over on the table and kind of get a little more, look down at it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Okay, there you see it came. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the tool out. I'm going to slide the handguard off, and the nut's going to come with it. Yeah, maybe it didn't unloosen all the way. Let me see here. I think I've still got a little bit more work to do. There's a lot of little tiny threads here, so getting that off there. Still some more. Okay. That's not going to hurt anything there, but there it is, and here comes the nut with it, and that's just inside there. Here's the stock nut, as you can see. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do, we just basically have to get, and inside here there's actually a steel sheath, so you're really not going to hurt anything. You can put a little torque on this, about 20 foot-pounds is what I would say. You're not going to hear that from anybody because Smith & Wesson doesn't generally tell you. Right now would be a good time to clean up the barrel a little bit if you could too, but if I can find a little rag, I'll probably do that and just wipe it down a little bit, and then that way you got a nice clean working surface. But your barrel's in there. Your barrel actually comes in from the receiver, so it's, as long as you're pulling it from this way, you're good to go. Just don't let it come back this way. All right. So I'm just going to wipe this down a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And then we're just going to get it right in here, and we'll start putting in the replacement converter. This is going to be the converter. So this is going to go on here. Again, very, very tiny thread, so you want to make sure you don't cross thread this. Okay, because those are really tiny threads. Okay, it's hand tight there. Alright, so as you can imagine, now the next thing we're going to do is, once we tighten this up with the spanner wrench, we're going to get a little rag to do that. And then, let's move some of this stuff here out of the way. The next thing is going to be is the putting on the Troy Industries standard barrel nut over top of that. So, alright. So, wipe this off here again. Get it as tight as we can there. Then we're just going to put a little bit of torque on it. And remember, with this wrench that we've got here from Tactical 22, let me see if I can get that out there a little bit better. As you can see, I'm going to move this so you can get a little closer and see. The idea is the spanner is going to come like this just to tighten it down. But as you can, right here, the steel is going to crush these aluminum threads if I don't do a pretty good job protecting them. So something that will help you do that is could be a little rag, and then just get a little bit more torque on it. 20 foot-pounds, and as you can imagine, that's probably going to be well, when I took it off, it didn't feel like it had 20 foot-pounds on it, so I think just a good, right there, good tight. That should do it. I'll put a little bit more on it. Be safe. Yep, that's good. All right. So now that's tightened up. Okay, that's good and tight. All right. And we're done with that little spanner wrench. Alright. Okay, so now the idea is to go ahead and put the factory, or the Troy Industries barrel nut. Okay, that's just going to go straight over. I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Remember, this is steel, this is aluminum, so you're just going to make sure it threads nice and straight. It should go on pretty easily. And to get it to do that, remember I had to get that anodizing off those threads, so to get it that far. And then you want to go ahead and get, what you want to do is get this flush with the threads. So the, put that cover back on there. Troy Industries gives you a proprietary wrench, and you can just do this by hand. Remember, we're dealing with a little 22 here. So we're going to just go ahead and get that on there, and then just tighten this up so it gives it a little bit of a, make sure it's going there on there really good, and then it matches up with our the end of our conversion barrel nut. Okay. Okay, let's get that on. A little bit more. I would say that's good. Alright, so that's it. Now, all we're really doing at this point is bringing in the new rail. We're going to slide that over top, and we're going to get it lined up into the teeth of the Troy Industries barrel nut. Then you want to do is work it so that it is timed. And it looks like there's a little bit of a gap, and I kind of thought there would be, and the reason why that is because with the M&P 1522, right here, you'll see in the upper receiver, there's a little bit of a prong there, plastic, and I don't know if that can be removed later on. I guess maybe that's something I could do, but then again, maybe there for a reason. But it's only going to let me go back so far, and that's going to, what the problem with that is, it's going to create a little bit of a gap, and you see the gap there. Not huge, but it is there. And it is pretty much timed. So if you really want to make sure it's timed, just take your optic off. Like in my case, I'll take this little riser that I've got on here, and I'll basically spread it so that I'm sharing both rails. I'm straddling both the rail of the. Let me get on there. This way I'm straddling both the rail, the new rail, and the old upper receiver. So once I've got that timed and I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and tighten down this optic. Now you see there's a little bit of a gap, and I say, like, I think I might be able to remove that and then just put it back on later. I'm not sure, because there's a tab here on the left side that keeps you from rotating it inadvertently after it's installed from counterclockwise, so it will come off. So now the only real work here is just to use the Allen key, the Allen wrench that comes with the Troy Industries rail. And the idea here is not to over torque this. Remember, this is aluminum. These are steel Allen head screws, and they have helicoils in here that are steel as well, but they can be broken off. So you don't want that gap. You want to kind of keep a little bit of gap there. So you just want to get it tight enough so that it doesn't come, sliding off of there. So let's just go a little bit here. Let's not go crazy. And we're just going to tighten them down just enough. Because when I took it out of the box from factory, I had to loosen them up just a little bit, but nothing crazy. So once I get that, yeah, just tighten them up a little bit. Yeah, that's hand tight right there. So I really don't want to go anything more than that. I mean, I can feel it in my hands that it's kind of trying to stop, okay? And that's good for me. This is a 22. It's not got a lot of recoil. I don't suspect I'm going to have a lot of anything coming back on it. So now I can go ahead and put back on my front flip-up sight. All right. The right way. Okay, we'll put the front flip-up sight back on. Okay, M&P 1522 fans, we're back at it. We had to stop for a minute because I realized that the timing wasn't working out on the new rail. Now, keep in mind, this is a Troy Battle Ready, Battle Extreme rail, and it may be different than others. Some like a Hogue, as you can imagine, just turns on and hey, you screw it on and that's it. But I want to get the timing right because it does. The Troy does have a top rail, as you can see. I wanted that timed, obviously, with the upper receiver, you know. So I want to keep it all together. But what I found here is in the factory rail, this is the backside, the factory handguard, there's a little bit of a divot right here, a little cutout, and there's a nipple that goes on there from the upper receiver, and that will sit inside of this. Well, what was happening, I didn't need all of it. You see how deep it is? It goes from here to here. I only needed like that much of it, so I had to take the little bitty tip off the edge in order for my Troy to go on there properly so I could time it. Otherwise, because of the notch in the bottom, it wouldn't time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this here would not let me seat properly, so I couldn't get it cinched up all the way. Remember we talked about how it was have a little bit of a gap? Well, that was why. Now this little nipple here, you see this little notch, this keeps me from counterclockwise turning it off, so that's a good thing. So I can only maybe tighten it, but right now it's timed up. So you see how the top of the upper receiver is timed with the new Troy Battlerail Picatinny. So that's what I was looking for. So I got that, and that was just a matter of doing a very fine trimming, maybe 1/8 of an inch of plastic right here had to be trimmed off. Okay, so I've got the front sight back on. I'm actually going to move it back a little bit more. I don't like where it's at, but it's there. And now, rather than to put the stock flash hider back on, I decided I'm going to go ahead and go with a. This is a Kineti-Tech. Unfortunately, I didn't have the one from Tactical already, but go ahead and put the crush washer back on, and I've got Tactical. I'm sorry, not Tactical, but Kineti-Tech's barrel shroud. Pretty cool, huh? So that's going to go on there instead of putting the stock flash hider back on there. I'm going with this, and I think that's just going to give it that really cool look. And with this here, you just want to give it a little bit of a cinch with your hands, and you're good. So there's our look. That's what we're going for. And you can see you've got, you know, your barrel shroud, you got your Troy Extreme Battle Rail on here, and we're back up and running. Now all I need is a magazine, some 22 rounds, and I'm up and running. And it was really that easy. So anybody could do it. You just got to get with Tactical 22. I'll put his link at the bottom and you'll see what I'm talking about, but easy enough to do. You can essentially put any kind of free float rail on your 1522 that you like. You're not stuck with the one from Smith Wesson, which is not bad. Really, it isn't. But I kind of like that smooth look. I'm going with that on my other ARs, and I thought, you know, this is my training gun. It's cheap to shoot, so I want to train the way I would shoot my others. So that's why I decided to go with this rail. And you can do the same. So look forward to the video, and check out the links in the bottom for Tactical. Talk to Jody. He'll take good care of you